Welcome to Biography with Plutarch, where we delve into the lives of remarkable individuals to uncover the intricacies of human character. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through the life of Andy Warhol, the iconic American artist, director, and producer who revolutionized the art world with his unique vision and innovative approach. Born on August 6, 1928, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Andy Warhol was the fourth child of Slovakian immigrant parents, Andrei and Julia Warhola. The sounds of industry and the smells of factory smoke filled the air in their working-class neighborhood, a world away from the glamour and sophistication that would later define Warhol's artistic style. His father, a laborer, worked tirelessly to provide for the family, often toiling for long hours in the local coal mines or steel mills. The physical toll of his father's work was evident in the worn lines on his face and the tired eyes that seemed to hold a deep sadness. Warhol's mother, Julia, was a homemaker who nurtured Andy's early creative inclinations, recognizing the spark of talent that burned within him. As a child, Andy was often sickly, plagued by a weak stomach and frequent illnesses that kept him confined to his bed for extended periods. During these times, his mother would sit with him, sharing stories of their Slovakian heritage and teaching him traditional folk songs and recipes. These intimate moments between mother and son fostered a deep bond and instilled in Andy a sense of comfort and security. As he lay in bed, surrounded by the familiar sounds and smells of his family's small apartment, Warhol began to develop a passion for drawing and painting. His mother encouraged him to pursue his artistic interests, providing him with paper, pencils, and crayons that became his constant companions. The young Warhol would spend hours creating intricate drawings of flowers, animals, and landscapes, showcasing an early flair for detail and composition. His artwork was a reflection of the world around him. The vibrant colors of the comics he devoured, the elegant lines of the Hollywood movies he watched, and the mundane beauty of the everyday objects that filled his family's small apartment. As he worked, Warhol became lost in a world of his own creation, a world where the ordinary became extraordinary and the boundaries between reality and fantasy blurred. Warhol's childhood was also marked by a strong sense of isolation and loneliness. He was often bullied at school, where his shy nature and effeminate mannerisms made him an easy target for his classmates. The teasing and ridicule he suffered left deep scars, and Warhol struggled to form close relationships with his peers. However, this solitude allowed him to focus on his art, and he found solace in the world of comics, movies, and popular culture. The glamorous images of Hollywood stars, the sleek designs of consumer products, and the bold graphics of advertising posters all captivated his imagination, influencing the development of his unique artistic style. The Warhol family's Slovakian heritage played a significant role in shaping Andy's early life. His parents' traditional values and cultural practices instilled in him a strong sense of community and respect for tradition. The family's weekly gatherings, where they would share stories, food, and music, fostered a deep appreciation for the power of storytelling and the importance of human connection. These lively gatherings, filled with laughter and warmth, provided a stark contrast to the cold, industrial landscape that surrounded their neighborhood. As Warhol listened to his parents' tales of their homeland, he began to appreciate the rich cultural heritage that flowed through his veins. As Warhol entered his teenage years, he began to explore the world beyond his neighborhood. He would often take bus rides to downtown Pittsburgh, marveling at the grand architecture and bustling streets. The Steel City's grittiness and energy were a far cry from the quiet, intimate world of his family's apartment, but Warhol was drawn to its raw power and beauty. These excursions sparked an interest in the urban landscape and the lives of the people who inhabited it, the shopkeepers, the street vendors, and the pedestrians who rushed to and fro. The city's sounds, smells, and textures all fascinated Warhol, and he began to see the world as a vast, intricate tapestry woven from threads of steel, stone, and human experience. Warhol's early education was marked by a struggle to find his place within the traditional academic system. He attended Shenley High School, where he excelled in art classes but struggled with other subjects. Despite these challenges, Warhol's artistic talents earned him recognition, and he began to receive commissions for his work from local businesses and individuals. His teachers, though often perplexed by his unconventional style, encouraged him to pursue his creative endeavors, recognizing the unique spark that burned within him. The post-war era, with its emphasis on consumerism and mass production, had a profound impact on Warhol's formative years. The rise of television, advertising, and popular culture created a new visual landscape that fascinated the young artist. He would spend hours watching movies, reading comic books, and listening to music, absorbing the images and sounds that would later become the foundation of his artistic vocabulary. The sleek lines of 1950s design, the bold graphics of advertising posters, and the glamorous images of Hollywood stars all captivated his imagination, influencing the development of his unique artistic style. As Warhol navigated the complex, often contradictory world of his adolescence, he began to forge a sense of identity that would define him as an artist. He was a product of his time and place, a working-class kid from Pittsburgh with a Slovakian heritage and a passion for art. But he was also something more, a visionary, a provocateur, and a master of the ordinary. As he stood at the threshold of adulthood, Warhol gazed out upon a world that was both familiar and strange, a world that would soon become the canvas for his most extraordinary creations. As Warhol entered adulthood, he began to make a name for himself in the art world, navigating the vibrant and competitive landscape of New York City. In 1949, he moved to Manhattan, drawn by the city's energy and creative possibilities. He quickly gained recognition for his unique style, which blended elements of pop culture and fine art, with a distinctive blend of elegance and playfulness. His early work included illustrations for magazines such as Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, where his delicate drawings of shoes, hats, and other fashion accessories showcased his remarkable attention to detail and flair for design. One of Warhol's most significant early commissions was from the shoe manufacturer I. Miller, for whom he created a series of ads featuring elegant drawings of women's shoes. These ads, which ran in the New York Times and other major newspapers, helped establish Warhol as a rising star in the world of commercial art. As he recalled, "I wanted to be a commercial artist, not a fine artist. I thought it would be great to have my own studio, to have people working for me, to make money." This ambition was driven by a desire for financial security and independence, which had been instilled in him by his working-class parents. Warhol's experiences growing up in Pittsburgh, where he witnessed the struggles of his family and community, had also given him a keen eye for the ways in which consumer culture could both reflect and shape American society. In the early 1950s, Warhol began to experiment with silkscreen printing, a technique that would become a hallmark of his work. He created a series of prints featuring images of consumer products such as Campbell's soup cans and Coca-Cola bottles, which explored the banality and ubiquity of everyday objects. These works, which marked a significant departure from the traditional fine art of the time, were influenced by Warhol's fascination with the ways in which mass production and advertising were changing the American landscape. He was drawn to the bold graphics and bright colors of consumer packaging, which seemed to embody the spirit of modernity and progress. Warhol's fascination with celebrity culture also began to take shape during this period. In 1956, he created a series of drawings featuring images of Hollywood stars, including Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor. These works, which were exhibited at the Bodley Gallery in New York, helped establish Warhol as a major figure in the emerging pop art movement. His interest in celebrity was driven by a desire to understand the ways in which fame and glamour could both captivate and distort American culture. Warhol was drawn to the artificial and constructed nature of celebrity, which seemed to reflect the ways in which identity and reality were being reshaped by the media. The late 1950s and early 1960s were a time of great creativity and innovation for Warhol. He began to experiment with film, creating short movies such as Sleep, 1963, and Empire, 1964, which featured extended sequences of mundane activities like sleeping and watching the Empire State Building. These films, which challenged traditional notions of narrative and storytelling, helped establish Warhol as a pioneer of avant-garde cinema. His use of film as a medium allowed him to explore new ways of capturing reality and manipulating time, creating works that were both mesmerizing and thought-provoking. In 1962, Warhol founded The Factory, a studio and gathering place for artists, musicians, and other creatives. The Factory, which was located in a former hat factory on East 47th Street, became a hub of activity for the New York art scene. It was here that Warhol created some of his most famous works, including his silkscreen prints of Marilyn Monroe and his Flowers series. The Factory was also a space where Warhol could collaborate with others, fostering a spirit of experimentation and creativity that would define his career. As the artist and musician Billy Name recalled, "The Factory was like a big playground. Andy was always encouraging us to try new things and push the boundaries of what was possible." Warhol's relationship with his contemporaries was also an important aspect of his career during this period. He was close friends with artists such as Jasper Johns and Robert Rauschenberg, and he often collaborated with musicians like Lou Reed and John Cale. As Reed recalled, "Andy was a great guy to be around. He had a wonderful sense of humor, and he was always interested in what you were doing." Warhol's ability to connect with others and foster a sense of community was essential to his creative process, allowing him to tap into the energies and ideas of those around him. The impact of Warhol's work during this period cannot be overstated. His use of silkscreen printing and his focus on consumer culture helped to challenge traditional notions of fine art and to pave the way for future generations of artists. As the art critic and historian Lucy Lippard noted, Warhol's work was a kind of Trojan horse. It looked like it was just about surface and celebrity, but it was actually about much deeper things, like the nature of reality and the role of the artist in society. Warhol's exploration of the banal and the everyday also helped to democratize art, making it more accessible and relevant to a wider audience. As the 1970s and 1980s unfolded, Warhol's creative output continued to evolve, much like a kaleidoscope turning to reveal new patterns and colors. His studio, now relocated to Union Square, remained a vibrant hub of artistic activity, attracting an eclectic mix of musicians, artists, and writers who were drawn to the master's aura like moths to a flame. The air was thick with the smell of paint, ink, and creativity, as Warhol's assistants and collaborators buzzed around him, eager to learn from the maestro. His own work from this period, such as his Oxidation paintings featuring urine-stained canvases that seemed to pulse with a life of their own, and his Skull series, which showcased his ongoing experimentation with technique and themes, demonstrated a continued push against the boundaries of art. Warhol's fascination with the burgeoning punk rock scene was palpable as he attended concerts and parties, rubbing shoulders with the likes of Debbie Harry and David Byrne. He saw in the punk movement a raw energy and anti-establishment ethos that resonated with his own artistic vision, one that rejected the mainstream and sought to challenge societal norms. This influence can be seen in works like his Gun series, which featured silkscreen prints of firearms, a stark commentary on the violence and disillusionment of the times. As he delved deeper into this world, Warhol began to explore the intersection of art and music, collaborating with musicians like Lou Reed and John Cale, and even producing his own experimental films, such as Sleep and Empire, which stretched the limits of cinematic storytelling. Warhol's later years were also marked by a growing sense of introspection and spirituality, a profound searching for meaning that belied his public persona as a detached observer. He began attending Catholic Mass regularly, finding solace in the ritual and tradition of the Church, and became increasingly fascinated with the intersection of art and faith. This is evident in works like his Cross series, where he explored the symbolism and iconography of Christianity, using bold colors and graphic forms to convey a sense of devotion and awe. As Warhol himself observed, "I want to be a machine," yet this statement, often misunderstood as a reflection of his detachment, actually reveals a deeper longing for transcendence, a desire to connect with something greater than himself. As the years went by, Warhol's health began to decline, and he underwent a routine gallbladder surgery in 1987. However, complications arose, and he passed away on February 22, 1987, at the age of 58, leaving behind a stunned art world that struggled to come to terms with the loss of its most iconic figure. The news of his death sends shockwaves through the creative community, with tributes pouring in from around the globe, as artists, musicians, and writers reflected on the profound impact Warhol had had on their lives and work. As his friend and fellow artist, Keith Haring, reflected, "Andy's death was like the end of an era. Warhol's impact on contemporary art is immeasurable, a profound reshaping of the very fabric of creativity. He revolutionized the way we think about art, celebrity, and consumer culture, blurring the lines between high and low, and challenging our assumptions about what constitutes art. His influence can be seen in everything from music videos to fashion design. As artists and designers continue to draw upon his innovative spirit and boundary-pushing ethos." As the critic and curator Donna DeSalvo noted, Warhol's impact on contemporary art is immeasurable. The Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh, dedicated to his life and work, stands as a monument to his legacy, a physical manifestation of the boundless creativity and innovative spirit that defined his career. His work continues to inspire new generations of artists, designers, and musicians who see in him a kindred spirit, a fellow traveler on the journey of creativity and self-discovery. In the end, Warhol's story is one of paradoxes: a shy and introverted person who became a master of self-promotion, a commercial illustrator who transformed the art world, a devout Catholic who explored the darker aspects of human nature. His legacy serves as a reminder that creativity is a journey, not a destination, and that the most profound art often emerges from the intersection of contradictions, where opposing forces meet and merge in unexpected ways. That's all for today's biography with Plutarch. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that understanding the lives of remarkable individuals helps us better understand ourselves.